Hello everybody, happy Sunday again. We are back with Bruno Bianchi. He's a personal trainer at Fitness Performance Fitness in Redlands, California. We are happy to have you back, Bruno.
Thank you so much for having me here. Hi guys, how are you?
So we're going to be looking at comments in a few minutes from the previous one, and we'll try to address that next time. So I want to tell a little bit how I met Bruno and what happened since. So I walked into his studio with a milkshake. I'm not proud of that, but I had a milkshake and fries, and I just stopped in. He was working with somebody who was close to me, and I was liking the transformation I was seeing, and I was needing help in my life at that point, still do. And he graciously took me in, never made one comment about my milkshake or my fries. Treated me as though I was holding, something really healthy, and started working with me. But I threw him a little glitch because of my vegetarian/vegan lifestyle, and so he wasn't really used to working with people like that. He was very much about training competitors at the time, and he's very gifted with training. And so with the information that was out there at the time, he was using those tools and those studies to make athletes their very best. But you still worked with me, and he researched and created diets for me that I could live with and felt good about. And the body still transformed with a lot of work.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then fast forward just a few weeks ago, someone had mentioned to me the documentary Game Changer. And if you haven't heard of it, it's a phenomenal documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. You can see it for very cheap. I think maybe $2 or $3 for.
It's on Netflix as well.
Oh, Netflix too?
Yes.
Okay. And it's about a journey of a traditional athlete diet, high protein, meat, lots of meat, and transitioning to a plant-based diet after an injury, and how that impacted the body. And with that, I asked Bruno, I said, have you seen the documentary Game Changer? And he says, yes.
Yeah.
He was so excited about it.
Sure,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
So when I heard his reaction and saw his reaction, I was like, wow, there's been a change here over the years that I didn't even realize was happening.
Right.
And you were very excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think the documentary, it's a great educational tool. Basically, I have been in this field for about 30 years, and I'm sharing this because through all those 30 years, you could definitely see significant changes in the approach of what's best for the athletes. Usually everything starts with the athletes, because that's what science usually at the beginning are studying, to how to get them to the next level, of performance, of strength, of endurance, of whatever they need to get better in that particular sports. So again, I do believe that science is done through research, and then you have a lot of different researches through the years, but then as the science evolved, I do believe that the research that we are coming to right now, the results are much more powerful and solid than the ones that we used to have 30 years ago. So like you said, I mean, it's for a long time it was believed that every single athlete should be consuming high amounts of protein coming from the animal source. And again, through the years, all that start changing, and everything start changing with the athletes, because they start realizing all these huge corporations that they were managing, football teams or things like that. They were bringing the best of the best to start working with their teams and the athletes. And as you see how this progresses, you see how all these professionals agreeing with the latest research that we're showing through the years, how good it would be affecting, the performance of each athlete if you would have all the nutritional, needs coming from plant-based diets. And just to break it down a little bit, there's some really important points, the why I would say that is much better to embrace a plant-based diet than an animal-based diet. And again, like we talked last time, it's showing, the research and the results are showing that everything is connected. It's not just one thing. What I'm saying this is like we just are talking now about the athletes, but this goes beyond the athletes. This is connected to all of us. Why? Because we start with the athletes, okay? That's the main subject, the study that we do at the beginning. But then you use that as a continued research for now normal fitness average people. And what are the results on these people? It's not like, okay, I'm an athlete, then I'm going to be affected in a good way with this, but I'm a normal person and I'm not going to be affected in a good way like the athlete. No, you will. And then you go to a normal fitness average people, to someone who is in not such a great shape, and they don't have the best lifestyle right now, and how that affects that, population. And again, the results are solid, they're there. And then you go from there to people who have conditions already, okay, who already are like for some way like they are sick or they have conditions, different conditions, and you start using these tools with all these other segment of population, and you realize that I would say that the results are like even so impressive that sometimes it's even better than the medication that is being prescribed. The results, the positive aspects that the eating, when you're eating something that is going to bring balance to your body, how everything again syncs and everything is connected. So that's kind of like the change of connection between all of this. So when we're talking in here about the diets, we may use an athlete, we may use someone who has a cardiovascular disease, but again, we're talking about human beings and find that balance and what's best. So what I would say is why it's much better to go plant-based diet is very simple in some way. Is if you are taking something that is going to create, let's put an example. Let's say I'm going to give you this pill, Stephanie. Every day you're going to take like a vitamin C, but you're going to take every morning of your life, and it's supposed to make you feel more energy and your immune system going to work better because it's vitamin C, no? But then you start taking that every morning, and then I'm going to put you through different, studies and see what are the results of that. And we started seeing that with that vitamin C that you're taking every morning, you starting getting, a series of, unbalanced, things are going on inside. Like you start getting all swollen, inflamed, you start getting the immune system goes down. You start getting the channel that the blood flow go through your body start not working as efficient and actually start narrowing more. So that means like you cannot deliver the oxygen supply and the blood cells that you need through different organs in your body, because it start getting like more narrow so the blood can go through it, so that's another of the side effects. And then you start getting toxins in your body. So you're gonna tell me, hey Bruno, whoa, hold on, I have all these results, why I have to keep taking this? And my answer is because we have been taking this forever. So that's supposed to work, but that's the key. Supposed is not the evidence. The evidence is completely different. So that's why I do believe that we need to be open and update ourselves with the facts, and the facts today are showing that when you are eating animal protein, animal-based diets, and we are getting, mainly what we are looking for is the protein. The protein is so important because the protein builds the muscle, and it is true. But at the same time, that is going to bring with a cost. The cost of getting that protein from animals is going to bring all the other, facts that the science are showing that I just mentioned right now. A lot of other consequences, right? And now I have the possibility, through studies, and I bring this new vitamin B instead of C, right? And I'm going to tell you, Steph, start taking this every single morning of your life. Okay, and you start taking it. And then after a while, we get you through different studies, and we're going to observe the results. Okay, let's do it. And then we see that actually it is not bringing all the consequences that we just talked about, but actually is bringing the other way around. Is bringing for you. Let's talk about that path that we just said, like the blood should go, which is through your body. Instead of like being narrowing, actually it's expanding. So now you have much more like a blood flow through it, which is going to make you healthier, because the other one goes down and you can get the clots, and then you can get the strokes, you can have heart attacks. When it goes up, then it goes through it, and you get healthier. And not just healthier, and that's the most important thing, but then it's when applied to the other field that we were talking about, athletes. When that goes, like you have more blood expands, you're gonna be performing much better in whatever you're doing. So you're gonna have more endurance, and then we're talking about strength. It is proven that it's going to increase the strength as well, and you're going to keep building the muscle as the same ratio as you used to with the animal protein. The only difference that people used to say before, and I used to actually say that as well, oh no, vegetarian protein is not like a complete source of protein, so then it's not going to work as well. It's just a reality that is like place right there, because when they're saying that is because what is protein? Protein is amino acids, essential amino acids, and that what it is, the amino acid is like a block. Imagine a block, and then imagine another block next to it. So it's different blocks that are going to build the final product, which is the protein, and the protein is going to build the muscle of our body, right? So it's not going to give you energy. Protein is going to build the muscle fibers of your body. So when we are going to, protein is more complete because it brings these different amino acids, or the change of amino acids that are going to be the whole for building that protein. Meanwhile, when you're talking about the vegetable, the source of the protein comes from the vegetables, you are going to say they are incomplete, because instead of bringing, let's just say instead of bringing 5 different amino acids that needs to be present to be complete, they're going to bring 4, and one of them is not there. So that's why you would say, oh, it's incomplete. But that's, again, that is not something that it needs to be ending right there, because it may be lacking of one of these amino acids, but that doesn't mean that in every vegetable is going to be lacking from the same amino acid. So you can combine, you can combine this pea protein with this other rice, brown rice protein, and then you're finding that the combination of them, they're bringing a full panel of the amino acids that you need to create the protein. So basically, is 1 + 1 is 2. You got a 2 as a result. Then you go to the animal protein. What's the benefit? Just the benefits is 1 + 1 is 2. So it's the same results in here and in here. But the side effects of this is all what I mentioned before. So, and the side effects of the plant-based diet is that you're going to have like less risk of a heart attack, less risk of cardiovascular diseases, less risk of diabetes, which are the most dangerous, like killers in every single pretty much country, So you're reducing, it's not just not affecting you, it's you're reducing the ones that you already have significantly. Then you're going to, again, for overall for overall, I would say lifestyle and the performance of yourself, you're going to feel more energy. You're going to feel your mind is more clear. You're going to feel that your resistance is better. You're not gonna be exhausted every day. You're gonna sleep better because you are digesting the nutrition and the type of nutrition that we're meant and are designed as a human beings to be, basically, to do, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, when we eat meat, we are just getting some of the benefits because the things that we are eating as meat, they are being fed by vegetables. Mm-hmm. So sooner or later, the protein is going to come from vegetables no matter what.
Right.
Because if you eat a cow and a hamburger, that cow is going to eat grass. So it's being fed by the grass, and the protein is going to be created over there, and then you are eating the cow. But the problem is like you're getting this middleman right here, which is the cow.
The cow that extracted all the nutrition.
Right, exactly. And you need to digest that, which is the middleman, in order to get some of the benefits from the grass, and then you get all the bad things that are being right there because you are eating this third party right here, instead of when you go directly to the source that we are meant to be, is going to create automatically balance, and you're working automatically 100% instead of being working at 80%. So what I have to say is this: if athletes from before, they were good with animal protein, and I'm talking about extreme athletes, about even, for example, bodybuilders are the ones that need more amount of protein because they have to feed more amount of muscle. If they were able to get to that point of performance, just eating animal protein, imagine how far they could go if they could be eating all this time the sources, that the nutrients that they need from the vegetables instead of the animals. So yes, it's
and the
breakthrough.
inflammation that
Absolutely.
builds up in the body from the meat.
Absolutely.
And that healing, the plant-based diet is healing.
Right.
Not only does it decrease your potentials for having other complications, but it actually heals the body and repairs.
Absolutely, yes.
And with what you're doing in your business, you're helping to build a body, but it's a process of tearing down and rebuilding.
Absolutely.
So as we tear down that muscle, we need everything that we can naturally have to rebuild and repair.
Absolutely.
And to be that strongest. There was an example in the documentary about the gentleman who was healing, and he on the ropes. He'd never been able to do more than like 8 minutes, 8 or 10 minutes on the ropes. After being on this plant-based diet, he stopped at 61 minutes. He could have gone more.
Incredible, huh?
That endurance that you were talking about.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a little bit part of the evidence that we were talking about. This is not just someone who is sitting, studying, and just not having the reality check. This is the reality. You're talking about the side effects, the good positive side effects of this. They are there. I mean, it's proven. People who hold world records, people who are in the Olympic teams, people that make completely difference.
Some of these.
Yes, please.
So people may identify with
Yes,
them.
go ahead.
Scott Jurek, okay, Carl Lewis, 9 gold medals, Morgan Mitchell, let's see, there were more.
Oh, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
So many that we don't, Mr. Olympia.
Well, Arnold, if we talk about Arnold, he was one of the, as we all know, one of the pillars, that represent bodybuilding. So, in his time, it's not like he was vegetarian. He actually completely, like I did in the past, admit that the only way, that's our way of thinking before, the only way to get to A to B, it was through animal-based protein, consume, but it's not. And even today, because of all this research, he opened up and he became vegan right now, and he's 69 years old. I mean, at least was, I don't know how old he is today, but he's around that age, but he's in incredible shape. This guy is still there and enjoying of a full, completely balanced health. So what you were talking about as well just now, that you mentioned about inflammation, right? So inflammation, if we really think about it, is the beginning of every single condition. Inflammation is the I would say the real silent killer, more than the blood pressure, because inflammation, when we're talking about inflammation, is where everything starts. You name it, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, problems in the joints, everything comes with the beginning of inflammation pretty much. So if you see the results of what a vegan diet does, is exactly the opposite. Why? Because animal, products, when we are eating them, besides different chemicals and proteins that you're going to have in your body, also it's releasing different, antioxidants, bacteria that are going to bring all that inflammation. That's why we feel the way we feel after we eat meat. That's why we reduce our capacity. We are tired. We're exhausted. The hormones are all messed up. The cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone that is in charge to storage fat, it goes up when we are eating, animal meat. So there's no really any kind of positive from all that. Meanwhile, we're talking about the vegan diet, is the opposite. It brings with the combo as well, the side effects, the good side effects of this is going to bring these antioxidants, for example, that I'm just talking, and vitamins that are going to also affect, our system in the opposite way of the inflammation. So the inflammation, even if you are not getting animal protein or animal, sources, if you're just eating normally, but then all of a sudden, when you start eating all this vegan, diet based, your inflammation is going to go down. And as well, like you said before about everything is about the healing process. Because again, when we get sick, what happened? We get sick and we are forced to now rest, and we are forced to, of course, if we need to take medication, we take medication, but the body needs to heal. That's the process. And when we are resting through that healing is when the brain starts sending this message to repair, right? When we are repairing, we need the right, again, building blocks to repair. So if we are following like a vegan diet, you will have all those tools to repair in a much faster and efficient way than, meanwhile, the other one is not bringing the tools to repair. Actually, the opposite is breaking you down with all the things, right? Yeah. With all the things that we are just talking in here. And when we are talking about healing and repair, that's the equation for pretty much, again, like we talk always, everything is connected. Athletes, if you're talking about athlete, what's the goal of an athlete is to get better in whatever they're doing. And how do they get better? They train. And when you train, what are you doing? You break down whatever you are at to basically go down, and then the body send the army to try to heal and from that attack, and then they build you stronger. The brain is telling to your body that they need more strength in this area, or more, fibers in that area, or more endurance in this area, because you are being challenged. So you go down, you break, and then you heal, and then you go up to the next level. So again, if you put that with the, a normal individual, it's the same thing. Everybody, even if they are not extreme, athletes, everybody, every day we are breaking things down, and we need to heal from it, and then we need to reinvent ourselves. That's the way it is. So if we are not really healing and reinventing ourselves, that means, again, there's no grade. You're going down. Yeah. In here is you are maintaining or going up when you're doing the right thing, or you're going down. When you're going down, you're getting sick, your age, and your life become pretty much a nightmare every day. So it's extremely important, the process of, like you said, destroying, which is training, which is movement, which is we need to do our part in the right way, and then the healing, which is a resting period, and the nutrition and all the chemicals that are going to, and hormones that are going to help with that rebuilding ourselves. And then, you go to your next level, which is more balance overall, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I love it. Right. I never thought I'd be able to do this interview with you.
Right. It's interesting. Everything changes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God is always working on all of our hearts, and as Seventh-day Adventists, we have a health message that was given to us, and it's been interesting to watch now science come in and back that message up, and it's exciting.
Absolutely, yes.
And I'm excited for, I'm embracing this health message more too, because I grew up in a lot of it, but there's a lot I didn't know.
Right.
And I'm still learning.
Right.
Like you say, pushing myself.
Absolutely, yes.
And trying new things, and it's kind of it's an analogy for life.
Absolutely.
God breaks us down.
Right. Yeah.
Personally and physically, and then He rebuilds us stronger.
Absolutely.
Spiritually.
Right.
And then, so the body is meant to heal.
Absolutely.
It's made to heal.
Yeah.
And it's fearfully and wonderfully made.
Mm-hmm.
And the original diet was fruits, nuts, and grains.
Right. Right.
Meat was introduced, as we know, after the flood.
Right.
And there was a specific purpose, and that was to shorten life.
Right.
Because there had been so much sin, God had to come in and destroy the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so, it's when we stick to the original diet or get to this kind of diet, then it's healing, it's repairing, and it's making us better and stronger vessels even to do His work for Him.
Absolutely.
As you have mentioned before.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree completely with you. And just I want to mention some of the facts just to close this topic that may help is because when we're talking about vegan diet, the main conflict that it does exist is, well, if I'm eating the enough amount of protein that I need, also I'm going to be eating carbohydrates as well. So which carbohydrates are needed, and they are good, but we need those in relationship of how much are we spending, because the carbohydrates basically is going to be the fuel for your energy. So the fuel for your
potato chips.
Right, that doesn't apply. So when we are having that fuel in our system, which is the carbohydrates that we need, if we are using them, that's great, because that's like 100% functionality. But if you are not using them and your storage in them in the amounts that you don't need, sadly that carbohydrate is going to be transformed into fat. So that's why it is recommended for people who is overweight to really watch their carbs, and they went to the extreme to all protein and no carbs. But the thing with the protein, like with the vegan diets, the conflicts arise that most of the vegetables and that bring the protein in the ratio, the relationship between the protein and the carbs that they bring, usually it's going to be protein is going to be 1, meanwhile the carbs are going to be 2. So usually it's going to bring more carbs to reach the amount of protein that you need if you eat them, more carbs they're going to bring as well that you don't need. So, but again, thanks to science, right now we have the possibility that we don't have to break that down. It's already there for us. We have supplementation. There's supplements that as well. Right now there's powder proteins that are vegan. So we can have vegan sources of protein without the carbs, so that way we can establish the right amount. I'm not saying that you need to feed yourself 24/7 with those shakes. No, not at all. That's not what we want. We want to actually the opposite. We want to have our needs covered with whole food, and then help, because that's in the name of the supplement, is you are supplementing something. It's not like I'm replacing something. They would be called replacements. It's a supplement is because we need to be doing all this, and I supplement that with these other sources of protein, vegan protein, that also are going to help you to accomplish that level of protein without you exceeding in the carbs that you need to be intaking every day. So and with that said, good sources of protein, vegan, because that's another question. What can I eat? What can I eat? Vegan it's a little confusing, because if you're not vegetarian, you want to be, is like, that's the first question you're going to ask. I mean, that when you eat egg, you have this amount of protein. When you eat chicken, you have this amount of protein. So what about now being vegan? Well, then you go to that challenge that I just mentioned, but some good source of, protein, vegan protein that you may have in consideration are, for example, lentils. It's just going to bring 1.1 gram per basically tablespoon. That's the measurement, the nutritional facts. Edamame, how do you pronounce that one? Edamame. Okay, that is a good one. It brings like 17 grams of protein per 1 cup.
Wow.
So pea is good because it's gonna bring 8 grams of protein per cup. Tofu is great. Tofu, it brings like 10 grams of protein and 0.5 cup. But that remind me of something, because I have a lot of people through the these years, my clients, that they were vegetarian, but they were not being balanced. They were not finding the results either, because it's not magic. You're not going just to be vegetarian and then all of a sudden, okay, you can have a six-pack. It doesn't work that way. So what happened is as well, you need to consider how do you cook your food. So that's very important, because if you are getting, for example, tofu, which is amazing, but you're frying the tofu, you're defeating the whole purpose. So I'm talking about raw tofu. So most of the things we're talking about is not extra dressing, no fries. So you need to be careful, very careful about those things, because if you don't change that with as well getting more vegetables, you're not gonna get it all healthy. Because all the frying thing, all those extra dressings are going to get you unhealthy as we are talking about the animal thing. So defeat the whole purpose. So if you're going to be honest and want to be very vegan, okay, go all the way. Don't just get shortcuts, right? Because if not, it's going to be the same thing. You cannot pinpoint an animal eater, meanwhile you are eating all the other things that are not helping your health either, right? You'll be like, so. This
is going to come back to haunt me, just so you know.
So that's basically, just a general idea in all this, about the diets in today.
Thank you for adding that. That's important. We've shared something, and now you've given them a tool to work with.
Yeah, I hope it helps. Yeah, definitely. I hope it helps.
With the raw tofu, I tend to soak mine. What's the name anyway? Let it rest in something.
Right.
It's tasty, and then cut it up in like cubes and put it in my salad.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a bunch of different ways you can be creative. Now we have much more sources. You can go online and then you have hundreds of different recipes, healthy recipes. Because again, like thank God today as well, the conscience about eating healthy, it's all over. So it's like everybody can reach that. Before it was like a myth. Before it was just the bodybuilders eating these secret things, and then everybody else, killing themselves eating junk food. Well, nowadays at least we have the chance. It's like a much more percentage of people want to be healthier and more balanced, and with that we have more, options as well to find the right, paths to reach that.
Yeah, take advantage of all the information that's out there now.
Definitely.
Studies and everything.
Definitely.
Thank you, Bruno. It's been amazing, and I know that a lot of people have learned a lot and will benefit from this. I know I do all the time. I need reminding all the time.
Well, yeah, that's our purpose. So I hope, if we can help just one individual, just one out there, we are feeling, like more than happy. We are fulfilled. But if we can help more than that, that's even better. That would be like a completely a blessing. So thank you so much for listening, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Take care.